What's up, Sarah? Quicker than that, bud. What's up? What up, what up, what up, everybody? It is far too hot. Let me know if that air conditioner is way too loud. I'll turn it off. But Snowflake's in here, as you can tell by all the white hair, because she had to give me all sorts of lovin's. And got the AC running. Keep her little self cool. So I figured I would do something, I don't know, fucking Jurassic related, because it's Jurassic June. I haven't really done anything, but I also need more stuff for... You shut up, sir. More stuff for Gimmick. So I figured I'm going to turn this derpy looking guy... Can't remember which particular Asaur it is. Sarah, are you a channel member now? Thank you very much. But it looks goofy as hell, and for whatever reason, this is the articulation that they gave it. Like, so we're gonna do some painting on this. I don't think it's going to be anything super heavy. Well, Bjorn, here's the thing. They actually... The problem with the Jurassic... It's a problem. The problem with the Jurassic line is that they have started putting out dinosaurs that have names that look nothing like said dinosaur, and also they've started putting out some that only have like 1 or 2 bones that they've hypothesized that they would look like. So... I don't know. I was inspired by our friend, you know, the tuna, the fish, Huckleberry Prospect, did a great young brachiosaur mount. And I was like, fuck. Again, I need to get back at the mounts that I'm doing, or, you know, beasts of burden around Gimmick. So this is the victim. I'm going to take the batteries out, though, because I'm not going to have this thing screaming at me the whole night. Hey, Jess. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you can make it. So let's see here. Come on, screwdriver. It really was a really nice, a really cool build. Oh my god, it sounds like I'm tenderizing it to death. Snowflake's like, Dad, what is that? Father, why? I'm going to do figure 8s around your leg. Do you want to come say hello? Do you want to come up here and say hello real quick while I get these batteries out? Huh. It's like a busted can. You know how when you bust a can of biscuits open and they fucking pop? That just happened with all these batteries. I'm going to save these batteries, though. I like to save those little ones because you never know what they could be useful for. But yeah. I will show the cat, Bjorn. Give me 1 second here. She's staring up at me like, well, are you going to pick me up? You going to put me up there, Dad? Oh. Okay. Come here, Mau Mau. Come here, you big glute. There you go. Hi. Say hello. Yeah, you're purring like the crazy cat. No, you can't put batteries in the cat, and you can't put bubblegum in the cat's hair. Or else the cat will have to be shaved. My Mau Mau. Miss Snowflake. Oh, yeah, see, they talking about you. They said, what a lovely kitty. Show us your kitty. I think they meant something different, but that's for the Me Only fans. Huh. She's like, how come I can be up on the other table, but I'm not supposed to be up on this table? Well, this table has paints and stuff on it, where the other table is just a big, giant, empty thing. Okay? We'll play. Love you. All right, so also rocking my my Pride flag for Pride Month, Pride shirt. Let's get this down here. Get the camera focused in on that. Yeah, it was 90. According to the nearest weather station, it was 99 today. According to my thermometer in the house, it was a little bit over 100. I can't 100% say that that was the case, but it was fucking hot and it was not pleasant at all. I think for gussying this up, we're just gonna do, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna, I think, paint the toenails. That's always a gripe with all the collectors. It's like they can't paint that and they always skip the dew claw. Adam will tell you we're gonna pick out some pebbles with a brighter green. And then I'm thinking a couple of washes, and then we'll start building like a back saddle here to hold things, and then we'll worry about like making a mount for the rider. I plan on streaming for a bit tonight, so if you're gonna be here, grab a beverage, grab something cold. I've got a couple of seltzers here and a cup of leftover decaf coffee because I'm trying to cut down the moo juice for my heart health or something. I don't know. I say moo juice, I meant go juice. But this cup is from Gregory's Coffee. I am not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. But Gregory's the best coffee place. Well, Adam, the thing is with decaf is there's actually caffeine in it. Oh, that's green. Oh, we almost just made a crucial mistake there, kids. That's not the color for the toe beans. I want brown. So we're gonna get this brown shaken up. And I want to do a thingy over here. That's bull cow. Stop doing that shit. Did you say bull cow? Alright, I am going to turn this AC unit too low. There we go. There we go. Alright, but I'm going to do the beans, paint the feet of the dinosaur, and then we'll see where we're at. And for those who ask, I'm going to do burnt umber. That's like my standard brown. Yeah, it's a really, the face is, look at it, it's like, like it looks like it was a Disney dinosaurs like inspired sculpt. It looks like it absolutely doesn't know how to think, and if it did, it would hurt. Gungan animal face. So, painting the toes is quite literal. I don't know if y'all have ever painted your fingernails or your toenails. Quite the same. You start at the cuticle and work your way forward. I will do the bottoms of the toes after the tops have dried, and then I'll seal them before we go any further. Fortunately, the AC is helping with the humidity in here because it was pretty damn humid earlier. And it took care of that. I've got the other air conditioner running low on the front of the house now that the sun is set. Give it kind of a rest because it was beating down in the house. And like I said, it was over 100 according to the thermometer I have on the side of my house. And the feels like temp according to the weather station here, which I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, I understand there are factors that make the temperature feel like a difference. I guess I'm painting the bottoms of the toes now. Make the temp feel like a certain way, but just like, unless we're talking in a scientific sense, if you know, we're in a laboratory, just call it 107 degrees. If it feels like 107 degrees out and you can calculate that, and people want to know how hot it is or how cold it is outside, just tell the feels like temperature, right? I mean, is that ableist of me? Is that because I understand how this works, like I'm being a dick about it? But like, I feel like they should just tell us the feels like temperature as the temperature. Yeah, there were some very beautiful paint jobs on dinosaurs, especially the Beast of the Mesozoic and the Dino Hunters dinos there. I've gone back a couple of times and eyeballed those photos. I'm starting to use a new streaming software. I started exploring it this weekend. It's new to me, but I have the tools, like the physical tools, like I have a Stream Deck. So I'll be able to use that to like change cameras and stuff. But oh, you can actually, but I'm serious. Like it just maybe I'm going at this all the wrong way, but it just feels like if you're gonna tell me it feels like 107 and I know it feels like it's 107 outside, just tell me that it's 107. It's goddamn hot. I've got to take the trash out tonight, and I'm like trying to do the calculations of, okay, I'm gonna take the trash out, I gotta get all this stuff together, get it out on the porch, take it to the garbage can, then drag it to the street, and I'm like, okay, I'm taking a shower after. Did you just jump up there? You son of a bitch. She don't ever listen. Real feel is 125. There ain't no reason for that. There's no goddamn reason for that. There's snow. They got fucking... I saw it on the TV, so it must be true. Yeah, you got yourself up there. You did that, not me. There's snow. They got like a foot of snow. Did I see that correctly? In the mountains up in Colorado or Utah or fucking one of those fake states. Famine. How dare you say Utah is fake? You know people that live there. Well, you know, I've never been there, so it's not real. Apparently you're just allowed to think these things these days. What are you doing? Well, get down. Or go up a shelf higher. That's also fine. Yeah, it's quite literally they're like, oh, they had to bust the snowplows back out after winterizing them because of a big snowstorm where they got like a foot dumped on them. Like, what is going on? They're having unseasonably cold. We're having unseasonably hot record temperatures. Climate change isn't real, though, folks. Just remember, all them teaching people at school, they didn't want to learn you the true stuff, that Jesus wants it this way because of the giraffes or something. I don't know. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Without even a fucking doubt. It gets so hot to a point where you can't even tell anything else. It would get to, we had a digital thermometer over by the door. So this was like by the outside door that we'd always keep open to try and help stir the cross breeze. And it would get to 123, and that's when the thermometer would stop working. So we got some toes getting painted there. I did the bottoms of the toes. There we go. Little subtle things first, but it would be so hot once the thermometer hit 123, it would just stop and turn itself off. The batteries couldn't handle anything more. The system would shut itself down. So, you know, you'd have your days where it was like 98, 99 in there, but when we started pressing the hundreds, once it got up to 123, it would just shut off. And my boss would be like, well, you know, I got you guys Gatorade and this, that, and the third. And it's like, yeah, Gatorade's fucking fine for the dehydration portion of this game. It's the, you know, you don't have an appropriate exhaust system in here to handle this temperature. That's the problem. Like, people in restaurants should be getting hazard pay working in temperatures like this. Like, I wish that states because you know the federal government ain't going to do it. I wish that states would implement some type of hazard pay, and I don't want to hear anybody in the fucking comments after this live stream of like, oh, the owners couldn't afford that, then they'd be out of business. Well, if you can't afford to treat your help like human beings and pay them when you put them in harm's way, especially if they worked a job that was considered essential during the panini, during the lockdown, y'all can kiss my balls. They don't need to be open. They very well could, and I'm not saying, I know it's not that much, but they very well could, at the end of a week of these fucking staggering temperatures or whatever, walk around and put a $100 bill in everybody's hand and say, thank you for being here in these awful temperatures. I appreciate you showing up to work. Hey, look at my nails. Just getting them done. This really is the most pride stream that I've done, I think. I feel like I'm over here painting nails. I am wearing a rainbow shirt, and I'm bitching about the establishment. Hell yeah. Like when we work at the factory, they'd put out, this one always tickled me. When I worked at the factory, they would put out coolers. They would start putting them out, and then once it broke over 85 degrees, you could get Gatorade for free. And they'd have these giant coolers, and these fucking dudes, two things would happen. One that used to gross me the fuck out is these guys would go in there and they'd dip their sweat towels in there and like soak up the ice cold water, which on paper, great idea. Good job, guys, thinking outside the box to cool down. The second thing is people would just grab their Gatorades and crack them right open and start chugging on them. And it's like, you realize you're putting your mouthpiece all over their fucking sweat water. And some of them were double dipping and triple dipping the towels. So it wasn't like, oh, it's just a new towel every time. So you got that, plus everybody reaching in there with their dirty fucking dick grippers. And then as soon as the temperature dripped down below that, whatever it was, they'd come and put locks on the coolers. Like they're that concerned about, you know, running out of Gatorade or whatever for people that are hot working in these awful conditions inside of a factory, and they'd fucking put a little padlock on the cooler. Unbelievable. Right. We're going to let his little beans air dry for a second. Tuesday morning is, see, that's the thing, is normally I would take it out in the morning, but our garbage company, like with it being as hot as it's going to be, I can almost guarantee they'll come super early, so I won't be able to like jump off of the queue at work and run the trash out, so I'm going to do it all tonight and get it out to the curb. I mean, that'll ensure that they won't show up early at all, because that's the way the universe works for me, but we'll try and do the right thing and get the garbage out. I'm using matte Mod Podge for the nails. You put it outside on Monday nights, yeah. We have like village codes, and you can't put your garbage out before a certain point and all this other bull crap. That's one of those things I hate, where it's like, I get the notion like, oh, you don't want to stare at your neighbor's trash can sitting on the curb or sitting in their yard all week. It's like, I don't, sure, but I also don't care that much if my neighbor puts their trash out like a couple of days before they go on vacation, you know, so they've got to put it out by the curb. But people like call code enforcement over that. It's like, you got nothing better to do then snitch on your fucking neighbors for putting their trash out a day early or 2 days early. So you can put it out Monday nights if your trash comes Tuesday morning. So I take full advantage of that. Drag my trash barrel out there. And we've got the regular trash and the recycling. And the only reason I don't want to leave the recycling, like I could just skip taking the recycling out because it's not super full, is there's some cans in there, and even though I rinse them out, I don't want them to start smelling or attracting pests or whatever. And we do have a couple of bear in the area, and it's summer, so like flies, you get the littlest bit of like grossness in that trash can, and all of a sudden you're going to have flies all summer long unless you bleach it out. I really don't want to pressure wash the garbage can out with bleach water because I was stupid and decided to let flies accrue. So I'll take my recycling out too. Famine is the bear. That is my favorite Fozzie Bear thing, is like when he posts the singles, and it's like single bear looking for, you know, friendship or whatever, and he's like, you get a lot of strange responses here in LA, and that's not what I'm looking for. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And I just fucking laugh and laugh because, you know, the Muppets is a kid's show, but there are so many like grown up jokes in there and like sweet little things like that where he's like, you know, I get where they're coming from, but that's not what I'm looking for. As Fozzie is the best goddamn Muppet there is. Although I do love Animal. But Fozzie is my bear. Snowflake, I can see you out of the corner of my eye looking at me. She's like, I don't give a heck. Beaker? Or Bunsen? Bunsen's little round one, Beaker's the tall one. If anybody on here who's watching this feed or comes back and watches the replay, another really, really good toyetic painter of Jurassic stuff, the Jurassic Junkie, formerly known as the JP Compound, he uses super glue to paint the nails. I just don't have any really fine brushes that I'm willing to sacrifice to paint super glue on these, so we're going with the Mod Podge. Otherwise, absolutely, I would use super glue, but I don't have any brush on super glue right now, and I don't have any brushes that I'd like to sacrifice to the super glue monster, because once you use a brush for super glue, that brush is done. There's no amount of like, oh, I'll just wash it out with some hot soapy water in the sink. No, you won't. At least with Mod Podge, you can clean it pretty much right away. Clean the brush out, squeeze the water out, give it a couple of good rinses like I am right now in paint water, and you're good to go. So we're going to let that cure for a hot minute. I could blast it with the heat gun, which I might do. But I know I want to look at some greens, so let's look at some greens. I've got an olive gray, which is a nice green. Got a couple of tropical. I'll just bring all the greens that I want to use or might want to use down here. And the 2 browns, and we'll go from there. Oh, I've got some transparent greens as well. And we can work on the washes a little later, obviously. Brown. We got the other brown, and then I have a bronze green here. What do you look like? I don't know what this color looks like. I bought it on a whim. Okay. I see you, girl. It's actually a pretty nice, pretty interesting green. We might use a little of that on this, I think. Alright, I am going to blast the feet with the hairdryer, so I'm going to mute the audio so that your eardrums don't get blown out. And a back. Get down. Thank you, ma'am. Alright, so we got his little feety feets taken care of here. I want to tell beans. Brush super glue on, cut the bristle off, use a brush for agreeably. There you go. So I'm gonna actually start in the middle first. Do I want to start in the middle, guys? Or do I want to start in the head first? I think I'm just going to start picking up some of these pebbles on the skin. I'll use this bronze green, I guess, to make things exciting. Start with a very wet brush of just paint water from rinsing my brushes. And I'll start on the neck. And I'm just going to pick out, when I say pick out the pebbles, all the skin texturing and everything that's there, I'm just picking out some of the bigger ones and adding this green to those spots. There are some smaller ones on the underside of the neck that you can get, and you kind of find the groove that you're looking for. Like, I've seen some people paint every single pebble individually. Those people are they're dedicated to their craft. I guess maybe I'm not. They're a little more I guess I'll say it this way, they're more dedicated to it than I am. Ma'am, she thinks she's gonna paint. You not gonna paint. I love you. Go play. Thank you. She's not gonna paint. But some folks, they really get super into, like, okay, I want to paint, you know, these ones. I'll paint 50 of these this color, and then I'll do 70, like I've seen people actually map out like pebble charts of how much paint they want to use in what areas and things like that. But see, adding those little bits there as I'm going in already makes it more interesting to look at than the plain color, I think. And this bronze green is actually very close to the color that already exists on this guy. So it's almost like it's just pulling the color down, making the paint job more present on other parts of the dinosaur. I hope that sentence made sense in English. And there's so many like horns and bumps on this too, on this sculpt that we can pick out. So that'll make it a little more interesting when we get there. So let's see, we got a pebble right there. And then we've got these bare ass legs. It's like they took a paintbrush and like did the toothbrush thing where they just flick a little bit of brown on these legs, and that's just not gonna fly with me. Because this guy looks like he comes from maybe a leafy environment, and when he comes traveling through Gimmick, that's gonna confuse a lot of people. Because again, Gimmick is a very desert place. Like, yes, they have plants and stuff, but nothing like a jungle where this guy appears to have come from. Starting to develop some lore for him, and where his tribe comes from, the people that are using him for labor, and how he's perceived, I think. There we go. That's starting to look pretty flippin' cool, if I do say so myself. Let me get you guys down here. What am I doing? Sitting here yakking to the camera. It's like starting to fill out those legs, starting to add more character. And we can go to the front here, pick out some down here on his feet, on the front of the leg. It's okay to get a couple like near each other, these pebbles. There's nothing wrong with that. And if anybody tells you otherwise when you're painting your own dinosaurs, you can tell them to go fuck themselves. What's up, Jabalong? And you can give them the finger and say, worry about your own damn dinosaurs, you son of a bitch. And then hopefully they do. Hopefully they go and worry about their own dinosaur. Okay, there's a nice big pebble. Again, it's just like I said, the difference just looking at it versus a plain naked leg. And I am going to work both sides, so you guys will get to stare at that side for a hot minute while I pick out some pebbles on this side. Now, if I were painting this and I wanted to make it like mirror match on the other side, I would actually just put a mirror on the other side and just pick out the spots that I did over here and kind of orient them over on this side so that it was very similar in either direction. But I don't want that level of focus, so I'm just gonna focus on rule of cool. I'm just gonna add my dots where I see them, the pebbles where I want them, and kind of go from there. also I'm letting Snowflake be on stream because this is her way of earning income for the electric bill for the air conditioning. Right, Snowflake? She's ignoring me because I made her get off the table. She's like, thanks, Dad. Now I gotta work too. Okay, I can carry a couple of those down. Now, all my friends who are in the chat and commenting afterwards that went to Joe Fest, what was your number one find as far as either exclusive goes, or maybe you found your grail? I'm curious as to what that piece was. Axel Foley, Jackalope would be close second. Fix the head. What head are you talking about? I'll fix the head on the figure. Yeah, no, I'll get there. The head is usually where I put a lot of the focus of both my painting and in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. But I just want to do this body a little more justice and try and improve this, because not for nothing, it's not a horrible sculpt aside from the goofy friggin' face. Like, I should be expecting them soon. Let me know what I owe you for those, Bjorn, and I will get that over to you. You message me on that one, Instagram. I said it in my head, and I was like, yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. That was absolutely what just happened. I completely just went, I said it in my head and was like, yeah, Bjorn knows. Because you can read my mind, apparently. Okay. Do a couple. Even though this is a pretty similar green, I'm just picking out a few of the bigger pebbles and hitting them with this over here because it's going to add to the overall value when I start doing washes. And if you look at critters in the wild, like if you look at fish, snakes, tortoises, turtles, you look at how their colors kind of carry through the body, even if it's primarily a certain color at one end, and it carries on through most of the body. Okay. Just to make this interesting. Alright, so now, and that again was a bronze green that I used from Vallejo. Next I'm going to use olive gray. Pick out a few more, probably stick closer to the feet with this color, and maybe closer to the ridges. But I'm liking this like green olive gray. It does say olive gray, but it looks closer to a green to my eyes. Like maybe a brown, a green brown. What's up, Jess? Yeah, that is absolutely closer to a green. I'll go here. Like I said, I'm gonna focus on around the feet area. Maybe we'll do every other like knuckle on the toes, just to add a little class, add some depth, some visual interest, as the kids say. Let's see. So we did that one. So we'll go here. That's cool. And then Dynamite. Thank you. Ah, it's Dynamite. Same with the back feet. The word is on the street, the fire in your heart is out. I know that's not the words, but I'm sure you've heard it all before, but I never really had a doubt. I am thinking of cutting a couple of styrene pieces and making like some armor, some leg armor for this guy. Maybe not necessarily war armor, but closer to like spats. Because again, kind of starting to develop the area that he came from. And I think that would be wise, you know, brambles and stuff. You don't want to get your critter's legs all cut up. And also could be for defensive reasons, you know. And also I think I'll do the knees with this color. Knees, is that? Yeah, it's got to be, it's the knees at least on the back leg. It's just adding little bits of value to the paint, to the sculpt, I think. That's just me, though. Also, I've worked out a deal with Site C, where the channel will continue if I get snatched up by ice for, you know, interfering with stuff. So it'll be like I never even left. Okay, and then I guess the back of the legs is called the knees. What is that area called on horses? I'm curious about that. Yeah, I don't want to do that. But also, yes, I get where you're coming from. Okay, so again, just little adding details adding things that make it interesting to look at. I want to carry this color into the face a bit, so I'm gonna wet my brush, really wet the tip, and also smack the like button if you could. And if you would be so kind as just to hit the share button and copy the link, because that tells the YouTube machine like, oh, this famine guy might be onto something here. We better jump on there. I think I need a little bit more paint on there, a little less water. There we go. And right now I'm picking out the beads, the bumps and pebbles all along the eye ridge, the ocular ridges and cranial ridges, as it were. So our dino girl over here getting her brows did. Getting her brows did. Then, just because I see it, in the valley here in the head, between those ridges, there's a couple of big pebbles. So I think it'll be cool to pick a couple of those out. Ramen Ian. Ramen. Okay, one more right there. So now the face has got a little bit more character going on to it. Just a little bit more. I'm gonna move to a... Actually, we're gonna mix two colors right now, because I've got this necrotic flesh, which is a nice, like, pukey green. It's not a neon green, it's more of just like a green. Almost like an olive drab, except closer to vomit. Like, there we go, like peas. I'm gonna take a toothpick. Where's my little thing of toothpicks? How did you misplace an entire box of toothpicks, Famine? I don't know, I may. Have you met me? That's right, I'll just use a brush to mix it. There we go. And I made it's more of like a softer, gross green color. That was a hard S. I apologize for anybody with auditory processing issues, as I just fucking blew your eardrums out with my hard S's. What's going on over there, sweet boy? Get your fat ass back over here. Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So the dinosaur is starting to get more A little more life to it, I like to say. I mean, the sculpt's got a lot of personality. Like I said, it looks like a cow that's deeply lost in thought. Like, it just hasn't processed any thoughts that it has. They just kind of exist in its dome, in its brain. Okay. Now I'm going to take that very same color. I'm going to pick out some spots here, some of these larger pebbles on the legs, the back legs, and towards the back. So I'll, you know, like I said, just pick out a few pebbles on the skin, because he's got kind of a craggy texture to him, which is great. Like, if I were to just dry brush this whole thing, which I did briefly consider, this sumbitch would pop. But I kind of like utilizing the existing base paint on this guy. It's saving us some time, saving me some time, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just unique. It's just a little different. Okay. All right. Now, I think I want to do, what color do I want to make his horns? Probably a brown. I know what I'm going to do. Give me a second, kids. We're going to get wild. Okay, that's cleaned out. And I'm going to turn this AC down, because I'm actually cold, which is not a complaint, just a statement. Matte black. Okay. Take my teeny tiny, itty bitty, you can barely see it's there, brush. A couple of drops of water in there. get the actual water off the brush before I start painting. Take some of this. And I'm gonna trace a few spots on here with the black. And it's gonna make this guy kind of look like he was inspired by camouflage. Obviously, nature and our, military camo or, historical camo was inspired by nature, blending in with things. But I think that doing this and highlighting these negative spaces will really help them pop. Like automatically, I think that makes that stand out a little more. So let's see, we'll do a few more. And I'm also just pulling the brush down and letting it make like cool lightning lines down the sides. You'll see. Miss Azrael is upset because she's not allowed in here, because Miss Azrael will hop up on kind of little bit of sorta. I could see Littlefoot in there. I more like see the grandparents before they fucking bit it. And I'm sorry, spoilers for an almost 40-year-old movie that traumatized me as a child. I don't know what you want from me. Like, my grandmother gets me that tape when I was a little kid. And of course, Littlefoot's grandparents get 86th. And so, like, I'm like, oh God, my grandmother is this old dinosaur and she will one day die. And ever since then, I've been kind of like mourning for her death. Told you Gimmick was a therapy project for me. Nobody ever wants to listen. Anybody else working on anything fun tonight? Or are you like me and we're suffering through this heat wave and decided that you weren't going to paint anything until the very last minute? Upping your THC levels in blood. Are you biting? Are you biting people and sucking their fucking THC blood? I'm for it. That is not. I am not judging you. I am here for any and all vampirism. Cool, cool. Isn't Don Bluth dead? No, if you get Don Bluth on the phone, he owes me $20. Well, he's dead to me. Ma'am. What are you into? This is why shit falls and then you panic and run. Snowflake, oh mine. Yep, it's gonna fall and you're gonna run. Yep, and there comes the running cat behind me. If you had listened to me, ma'am, that could have been avoided. Werther's original. Thought he was in his 90s. He should be in the cemetery is where he should be. Son of a bitch. Wouldn't that be funny? If for some reason, just for some stupid reason, Hollywood, whatever, or fucking the internet saw fit to make me famous, and it turns out like I just use my fame to go after Don Bluth for $20. Like just every appearance on Conan, I bring it up. Because I know I would upset Fallon. He'd only have me on once, maybe twice. But I feel like Conan would have me on a few times. On account of my winning personality. for children. Okay. This it's almost giving me, it's giving Camo Extreme. I think once I add one of these neon greens to this, I think it's gonna like scream Camo Extreme line. Like this will be the fucking swamp Diplata fucking Hanjabasaurus. What are you doing, you little psycho? I love you. Just like, love you too. Gonna go over here and knock some more stuff over. Yeah, I did see that Disney is making a pledge to go back to some of the original hand animated cartoons. I think that's for the best, to be quite fair and honest. Like they needed to do something. Yeah, that's what they're saying they're going to go back to. We'll see how that lasts and how the animators handle that. But I'm glad because, like I said, they needed to do something. Bambi is the best Disney animation. Interesting take. I don't disagree. I would argue Fox and the Hound. What are you doing, cat? Where did you go? She's a cartoon character. We're gonna go. It always it reminded me, and I maybe it's just because of the content of the movie, but they always reminded me of those like hunting dog paintings that you'll like see at like barn sales and shit now, that people used to have hanging in their homes, of like bassets chasing foxes or beagles chasing foxes. Sword in the Stone is really good. I really loved Lion King. Loved the animation in that. Aladdin. But Aladdin was the first like onset where they were really reliant on computers to add to the film. So who gets credit for the animation and Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Bunch of the studios working together. Yeah, for me it's like how do they make like Fortnite work with all those skins from different companies and different game groups and stuff that you can have, and like how you can do that with Fortnite, but you can't like give us a motion picture where it's literally like the Justice League versus the X-Men or something like that people have been, for whatever reason, clamoring for ages. I don't get it, but people seem to really want that. And it's like if they could have done Who Framed Roger Rabbit, imagine what they could have done if the studios had gotten along. Okay. I think I want to do, yeah. And as far as like Space Jam goes, I am not unconvinced that they just didn't get Bugs Bunny from like some alternate universe and bring him into our world, because that whole movie was Bugs Bunny. Like I don't. Yeah, Don Bluth. Titan AE was amazing. To this day, that is one of my most prized uh, movies that I have in my collection. Like one of those where it's just like when someone's like, "Oh, I've never seen it." It's I put the brakes on whatever we're doing, and we put Titan AE in. Like it's just that damn good. I don't know if I just did that right, but we're gonna. I can always paint over it. But yeah, Titan AE was phenomenal. Rockadoodle, that was another one. Really loved that one. I still have that on VHS. And I desperately love the fever dream of a movie. Like, that movie is so wild. Yeah, it's horrifying because the whole thing like revolves around a kid with an unhealthy fever and also a flooding like family farm. Like, they will die. And they're just like, kids movie, kids movie, kids movie. Fucking spooky owls, kids movie. Not sure if I'm happy about that, the way I just painted around the mouth, but as I said, I can go over it. So I'm going to keep working this way and trust the process, because I think I can offset this with a little purple, and I will be happy. So I'm going to stop fussing with the black now. I just want to do the top bit of horns. Do I want to do them with some, like, brown? Yeah. Kind of do. Do I? I don't want the horns to match the toenails for various reasons. But I also don't want to do like white or gray. I think black is going to make them the most attractive, fortunately or unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead with matte black. Matte Black, attorney at law. Matte Black, dental salesman. Harry Moot Honda. I bet you they're one of my clients, because that absolutely sounds like some of these freaking names that these dealerships have at my job. There's like some of them that you hear the name and you have to ask them to repeat it, because it's like you can't even believe that there would be an establishment with that name out there. And yet, And of course, I can't name them on live stream because job security. But yeah, there are some car dealerships where it's like you hear the name and you have to go, huh? One more again? And there are a couple of dealerships that are named after celebrities because they are the owners. And that is always strange because, yes, they do work directly with those people and they know a weird amount of information about the car business or automotive sales, I guess is what you want to call it, not the car business. Somebody who's not a client that I am aware of, but I do know that somebody is a car salesman, or a motorcycle salesman, is Robert Patrick. He's got a Harley Davidson dealership. And like as soon as I found that out, I was like, no, that makes absolute sense. And having spoken to him and like spent like him and his wife spent a good half hour with us at the photo op thing because he didn't know he had a Friday photo op, so he didn't push it on any of his socials. So we were the only ones that had turned up for the Friday afternoon photo op. And so he was very generous with his time. But like him and his wife were talking to me and my girlfriend and just like speaking to him and seeing, just the way he carried himself and whatnot and like the types of jeans he was wearing and the boots. I was like, yeah, absolutely, this guy has a Harley Davidson dealership. Of course he does. I am trusting the process here, but I am not 1,000% sure of how much I'm loving this. Yeah. And that's, again, the beautiful thing about paint is we can just, like, paint over it. But I'd like to avoid that if I can. I'm feeling maybe I'll do a little tiny dry brush over some of these horns or whatever they are, craggy bone protrusions. But I don't know. We'll see. Two. Too many worst animated movies. There's a ton that I just don't care about. I will say though, surprisingly, Aladdin 2 was really good. Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, I couldn't tell that much, but I understood that it wasn't him. But also, like, I was also of that age where here to be entertained. I was at the age where I was just like, a continuation of the story, and it's actually fascinating enough to me. Like, that makes total sense. And I believe that one came out when I was living in Pennsylvania as well. No, number 3 came out while I was living in Pennsylvania. So, like, I needed fucking something to do while I was there. And being excited over Aladdin movies was the thing that I did to be excited. VeggieTales live action Christian propaganda movie. We're pirates, and everybody knows that pirates don't hurt anybody. And they don't steal and they don't lie. Gee, VeggieTales, I don't think you know what the fuck a pirate is. He got ticks all over his back end. Don't bring him in the house. You got to keep him out on the porch and get all them ticks off him. Throw him in the river. Trying to think of the first flick where I was like, this is not good without the previous actor or the previous voice actor. I can remember when the Rangers, when the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, when a couple of them left the show, and I remember being like, not really a fan of these replacement Rangers, but then they kind of grew on me. You hated the Flintstones? How could you? Fred Flintstone, fucking and Barney Rubble. How could you hate those guys? Original Scooby Doo. Casey Kasem will always be Shaggy to me. I know Matthew Lillard. He's become like the internet's obsession for who should be Shaggy and who should voice him and all that stuff. But like, man, Casey Kasem as Shaggy. What snowflake? Where are you? Did you get yourself stuck? You did. Hang on. I gotta get this big knucklehead unstuck. Come here. Hi, baby. I help. It's okay. Back it out. There you go. Oh. You okay? Did you get stuck? Let me see what I'm painting. Yeah. What do you think? You're purring, so you must like it. Pretty good? You see yourself? You see yourself there? Yeah. You're very popular. You're showing your beans for money. Johnny Quest. Number 1 super guy. You know, it was one that I'm still surprised to this day never got a live action take or anything really, was Mighty Max. Or Mummies Alive. Both of those shows were like ripe for like live action, you know, crappy CGI, but like we're trying real hard makes. Yeah, Mighty Max was my shit. One Christmas, my grandparents got me a bunch of Mighty Max toys, and I kept guessing what they were. My grandmother got mad because she thought I had like gone through the Christmas presents and had looked, but it was like no. I was really hoping for Mighty Max toys, and like I was almost like manifesting them to be that, and I was like, oh, I hope this is the skull one, and I opened it up because the packaging was kind of reminiscent of a skull, and it was, and I was like, boy, I hope this one's the friggin' underwater version, and it was, and my grandmother's like, did you look through the Christmas presents? Blah 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 blah. Now you're opening your presents last, and I'm like, all right, and I'm just sitting there happily playing with my little Mighty Max guys. You know, and at the time, they had Steven Seagal, who looked just like Virgil. So you could have had him. He's the fucking worst, but it was like those movies were ripe for that type of, you know, that type of movie. Clancy Brown. Yeah. I don't know about all that, Adam. I think that take might not be the. Where are you going? You got stuck the last time you went in there, dopey. Snowflake. What are you doing? Come on. Come on. What are you doing? Why are you sitting in there? If you get stuck again, I'm gonna help you out. You won't catch it. You won't get any empty threats from me. I will help you. I'll just be annoyed about it. Are you going over there because that's where your friend Peanut used to hang out? Hi, honey. I know. You're such a sweet girl. we go. Now I'm starting to see. Starting to see the vision. Starting to come together. Right? So I'm just gonna keep painting these horns black. I think we might do the build for like the saddle and carrying tomorrow on tomorrow's live stream, the Tuesday usual one, because I've still got a ways to go here. And while I do enjoy the long stream, I also want to catch up on a couple of programs, couple of television programs. Catch up on my stories. Catch up on my picture shows. I remember there was a woman at my old school, and she was like a teaching aide, teacher's aide, teaching aide, hall aide, whatever you wanted to call it. But like she would sometimes be in classes and sit in classes and stuff like that. But she wasn't a teacher. And she would always be like, "Oh, I can't wait to get home." You know, we'd ask her why, and she'd be like, "Oh, I put in a tape so I could tape my stories." And like she would tape her soap operas, and then after school, when she was done, she would race home to watch them. And she only had the one tape, and she would just tape over, you know, the previous day's episodes. And one day she missed and she was like walking around, she was pissed the whole day. And we're like, "What's going on? What's going on?" Finally, she like told us at lunch. She was like, "I forgot to tape my stories yesterday, and so I don't know what happened. Now I don't want to watch it." And like, bam, it's a TV show. It'll be there. But I guess they don't really do reruns of soap operas, unless it's like on the soap opera network, I guess. Did they actually like stop? Am I misremembering, or did I feel like they actually did just like stop making soap operas, right? Like those aren't really a thing anymore. Cowboys of Moon Mesa. The toy line's coming back, and there's a comic series, Cowboy Moon Mesa, that's coming out, and then I'm hoping that we get a Street Sharks animated series. I love the Street Sharks. Like what's not to love? They're giant freaking top heavy anthropomorphic sharks that like fight a dude who's got a drill for a face, and he's evil. Like boom, that's all you need. Nice. All right. I am going to call it for the evening. We will resume. We will resume. I'm going to keep my greens out because I'm probably going to use those tomorrow for some touch-ups and things like that. And we will also do, or you know, who knows? Maybe I'll do a little bit of touch-up, you know, on my lunch break, and then we could just jump right into building the saddle and the carrying basket on the hind end. But there we go. I think this is a vast improvement. I need to work on the face. I'm not happy with that. I need to put color in the mouth, and just touch up a couple of spots that I see, but infinitely better, I think, than the boring, plain, two-color model that we got. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you tuning in. I will see you tomorrow for Tuesday's live stream, our usual. And until then, you know, you guys just too sweet me. Patreon link is down below. Super chats, all that stuff. It's there. What time is it going to be? Probably 9 tomorrow, Eastern. So I will be there, boys and girls, children of all ages. Be well.